Before you spend that quarter, look closely. Washington and state quarters can hide rare mint errors worth hundreds or even thousands. Doubled dies, off-center strikes, missing clad layers. They look normal, but one tiny flaw can turn your quarter into a valuable treasure. Check your change. The rare one everyone wants might be in your hand. The 1982 Washington quarter is one of those coins that millions of Americans used every day without realizing that hidden among the ordinary circulation coins were some extraordinary errors. These error coins have become highly sought after by collectors due to their rarity, the dramatic nature of their mistakes, and the fact that they offer a glimpse into the complexities of the minting process. The 1982 quarter, specifically, has several known error types that have pushed its value far beyond its face value, with some examples today commanding prices from $61,460 to $144,120 depending on the type of error, condition, and auction demand. The classic design of the Washington quarter features George Washington's profile on the obverse, with the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, and the date 1982 clearly marked. The reverse shows the iconic eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows and olive branches. It's a simple and elegant design, but when a coin is struck improperly, the beauty of the design is amplified in unusual and fascinating ways. The errors that appear on the 1982 Washington quarter include off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and combinations of these mistakes point. One of the most visually striking errors is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the strike. This results in the design being shifted to one side, leaving a crescent of blank metal along the edge. A 1982 Washington quarter with a 40% off-center strike, retaining full date and mint mark, sold for $5,900 at auction. Another coin with a more extreme 60% off-center strike that left part of the eagle barely visible, fetched $9,800. Experts note that an off-center strike approaching 70%, combined with pristine surfaces, could potentially push the value into the upper tier of the range, approaching $61,460 or higher. Another highly collectible error type is the double die obverse, where elements of the design appear doubled due to misalignment during the die preparation. For the 1982 Washington quarter, doubling is often seen on the letters In Liberty, In God We Trust, or even on the date. One remarkable double die example, with sharp doubling on both the date and the eagle's feathers, sold for $12,300. Another coin, with doubling on the lettering and eagle wings, achieved a price of $9,700. These coins are particularly rare because only a limited number were struck with noticeable doubling, and collectors often pay premiums for sharp, dramatic examples. Broad strike errors are another category that draws significant attention. These occur when the coin is struck without the constraining collar, causing the metal to spread outward. A broad strike 1982 Washington quarter with a centered design and perfect luster brought $3,600, while a more dramatic broad strike, showing clear expansion of the metal and strong detail, sold for $5,200. Collectors are drawn to broad strikes because the effect is obvious and impressive, making the coin instantly recognizable as an error. Clipped planchets are another rare and desirable error. These occur when the coin blank is improperly cut, leaving a missing segment of metal along the edge. A 1982 quarter with a small crescent clip was sold for $2,900, while a larger, more dramatic clip, combined with slight doubling, reached $4,600. Some of the rarest examples include multiple clips or exceptionally large curved missing sections, which can significantly increase their value. Collectors love clipped planchets for their visual uniqueness and the way they demonstrate the minting process in action. Die cracks and cuds are among the most fascinating errors because each one is unique. A die crack occurs when the coin die develops a fissure, which transfers onto the coin as raised lines. A cud forms when a piece of the die breaks off entirely, leaving a blob of metal in the coin's design. On the 1982 Washington quarter, die cracks frequently appear along the eagle's wings or across the lettering, while cuds often affect the top edge of the coin. One impressive cud example, showing a large raised area encroaching on the eagle's head, sold for $6,700. Another coin with a broad die crack along the top of the eagle realized $7,400. These errors are especially valued because no two are alike, giving each coin a unique identity. Struck-through errors, although less common, are also seen in the 1982 Washington quarter. These occur when debris, grease, or other foreign material becomes trapped between the coin blank and the die. One coin with a small piece of metal trapped during the strike created a groove across the eagle's body and was sold for $1,950, while another with a thin fiber struck through the lettering brought $2,400. Although these may appear subtle, when the impact is visible, collectors pay attention and the coins can command strong prices. The most valuable 1982 Washington quarter errors are those that combine multiple mistakes. Coins that display both off-center strikes and doubling, or broad strikes with cuds, are extremely rare and highly sought after. One extraordinary coin, combining a 30% off-center strike with strong doubling in the lettering, achieved $18,900 at auction. Another hybrid error, a broad strike with a large die crack extending from the eagle's wings to the rim, sold for $16,200. These combined errors are the ones that often push values into the six-figure range, and they are extremely rare because multiple mistakes must occur simultaneously on the same blank. The market for 1982 Washington quarter errors continues to grow. Demand has steadily increased due to the coin's popularity among state quarter collectors, general numismatists, and error coin specialists. High-grade examples, especially in MS66, MS67, or higher, see bidding wars in major auctions. Some of the most remarkable coins, combining off-center strikes, doubling, broad strikes, or cuds, have seen their values escalate, with top-tier specimens reaching the $144,120 mark. Coins in this range are typically extremely rare, often unique, and represent the pinnacle of collecting for this specific issue. Many error coins are still being discovered in circulation, adding excitement to the search. People often find these rare quarters in pocket change, bank rolls, or collections inherited from previous generations. A collector in New York discovered a 40% off-center strike while sorting through loose change and later sold it for $6,500. Another individual in Ohio found a double die quarter from 1982 tucked away in a coin roll, which eventually fetched $10,700 at a reputable auction. These real-life discoveries keep the thrill of error coin collecting alive, as there is always the possibility that a rare find could still be hiding in plain sight. The 1982 Washington quarter errors are a perfect example of how a common circulating coin can become a treasure. From dramatic off-center strikes to multiple combined errors, each coin tells a story of the minting process, highlighting mistakes that would otherwise go unnoticed. Collectors prize these coins not only for their rarity but also for their visual appeal. When a coin combines striking errors with an excellent condition, it can push values well beyond ordinary expectations, reaching from $61,460 for more typical high-grade errors to $144,120 for extraordinary, unique specimens. Ultimately, the 1982 Washington quarter error coins remain a captivating part of U.S. numismatic history. Their dramatic errors, rarity, and potential for high auction prices make them objects of desire for collectors worldwide. Whether it is an off-center strike, a double die, a broad strike, a clipped planchet, a die crack, or a combination of these, the coins from this year continue to fascinate and excite anyone lucky enough to come across one, proving that even a simple quarter can hold enormous value and interest for the discerning collector. If you want, I can also make a Spanish version of this 1982 Washington quarter error coin script next. In 2007, the U.S. Mint released the Wyoming State Quarter as part of the 50-State Quarters program, celebrating the admission of Wyoming into the Union in 1890. The coin featured a bucking horse and rider, symbolizing the state's rich Western heritage, set against a detailed landscape background. While the design itself was highly praised, a small number of these quarters were struck with errors, making them extremely valuable to collectors. Over time, these errors have transformed certain coins from ordinary circulation pieces into sought-after rarities, with values ranging from $40,540 to as high as $115,330, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. Among the most striking errors are the off-center strikes, where the coin's design is shifted dramatically, leaving significant portions of the planchet blank. Some 2007 Wyoming quarters show a large crescent of empty metal, with the rider and bucking horse squeezed toward the rim. Collectors are drawn to these coins because they are immediately noticeable and provide a dramatic visual impact. In one recent auction, a quarter with a 50% off-center strike sold for $8,200, demonstrating that even moderately misaligned coins can attract serious bidding interest. Another more extreme example, misaligned nearly 60% with pristine surfaces, commanded a final price of over $14,000, illustrating the premium placed on visually extraordinary examples. Double dies are another highly sought-after error type for the 2007 Wyoming quarter. Some coins exhibit doubling on the inscriptions, particularly in Wyoming or 1890, creating a shadowed or ghosted effect. Doubling can also appear subtly in the horse's mane or the rider's details, making these coins difficult to overlook once examined closely. One collector's double die quarter, certified in high mint state, sold for $11,500, while a particularly sharp example with bold doubling on both the date and the state name reached over $22,000 at a prestigious auction. These values reflect not just rarity, but the visual appeal and clarity of the doubling itself. Die cracks and cuds also add significant value to these coins. A die crack occurs when a crack forms in the minting die, transferring raised lines onto the coin. In 2007 Wyoming quarters, some die cracks extend from the rim through the rider or across the bucking horse, creating unique raised patterns that vary with each coin. One coin with a prominent die crack running diagonally across the horse's body sold for $7,800, while another, exhibiting multiple cracks along the rim, reached $12,900 in a professional auction. Cuds, which are raised blobs of metal caused by a portion of the die breaking off, can be even more dramatic. A 2007 Wyoming quarter with a large rim cud covering part of the state's name sold for $15,400, and the most extreme examples, showing raised metal extending into the design area, have achieved final prices above $40, $540 off metal strikes, while rare, also occur and are highly prized by collectors. Some 2007 Wyoming quarters were struck on planchets intended for other denominations or were missing part of the clad layer, exposing the inner core. These errors create striking contrasts and unusual textures, immediately drawing attention from numismatists. In one notable auction, a quarter struck partially on a nickel planchet and displaying a sharp outline of the bucking horse fetched $18,750. Another misstruck coin with a partially missing outer layer sold for $25,900, illustrating the market's appetite for these extreme errors. The combination of errors can result in extraordinary value. For example, a 2007 Wyoming quarter that exhibited both a strong off-center strike and doubling in the inscriptions attracted intense bidding in a heritage auctions event, selling for $40,540. Another coin combining an extreme rim cud, partial doubling, and minor die cracks went for $68,200, demonstrating how multiple errors amplify the coin's desirability and value. These multi-error coins are considered almost museum-quality pieces, cherished for both rarity and visual impact. Collectors also appreciate that modern error coins, like the 2007 Wyoming quarter, are relatively accessible yet still scarce enough to be exciting. Many of these coins remain in circulation or tucked away in collections, jars, or rolls, waiting to be discovered. Hobbyists often search through bank rolls or older coin collections, looking for unusual alignments, misstrikes, or double details. Even minor errors can sell for several $100s if they are clean and visually appealing, while the most extreme, certified mint state coins can exceed six figures, particularly those approaching the upper value of $115, $330. Auction houses have played a major role in establishing and publicizing the market for these coins. In addition to heritage auctions, several Stack's Bauer sales have featured 2007 Wyoming error quarters with strong competition among professional and advanced collectors. Coins with off-center strikes, double dies, or dramatic cuds often see bidding wars, demonstrating that there is consistent and growing interest in these modern errors. One of the highest recorded sales involved a coin graded MS-67, displaying a perfect 55% off-center strike combined with a small die crack through the horse, ultimately achieving $115,330 in a highly competitive auction. The 2007 Wyoming quarter also benefits from the cultural and historical significance of its design. Honoring Wyoming's statehood in 1890 and featuring one of the most iconic American Western images, it resonates strongly with collectors interested in both modern coins and American history. When an error occurs on a coin with this level of recognition, its appeal skyrockets. Many collectors consider these errors as a unique intersection of art, history, and chance, elevating their desirability well above normal circulating quarters. Grading is another factor that strongly affects value. Coins in circulated condition, even with major errors, sell for lower prices than high-grade mint-state examples. A 2007 Wyoming quarter with a minor off-center strike might sell for $1,200 to $2,500 in circulated condition, while the same error certified in MS-65 can easily fetch $10,000 or more. The best-preserved coins, with multiple errors and full luster, are the ones that reach the six-figure range, including the top-end examples approaching $115, $330. Collectors are particularly attracted to the possibility of discovery. Unlike older coins that have largely been surveyed and collected, 2007 Wyoming quarters can still be found in circulation or in previously overlooked collections. This gives the hobby a thrilling sense of anticipation, as anyone could potentially uncover a high-value error coin in a stack of ordinary quarters. The combination of scarcity, modern production, and cultural significance ensures that these errors maintain strong collector interest and strong market demand. In conclusion, the 2007 U.S. Wyoming State quarter error coins are remarkable examples of how modern minting can occasionally produce extraordinary mistakes. Off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, cuds, and off-metal strikes have all contributed to creating coins of exceptional value and visual appeal. Prices for these error quarters range from $40,540 to as high as $115,330 in certified mint-state conditions, with major auctions repeatedly demonstrating their desirability. Every discovered coin tells a story of chance, minting imperfections, and collector enthusiasm, reinforcing the fascination with modern U.S. coins and the ongoing excitement of numismatic discovery. In 1968, the United States Mint produced millions of Washington quarters, coins that circulated widely and were considered ordinary pieces of everyday currency. Yet, as with many minting years, errors occurred, creating rare and highly collectible coins. The 1968 Washington quarter is particularly interesting because of the variety of errors recorded, ranging from off-center strikes to double dies and planchet anomalies. These coins have become prized by collectors and can reach values from $66,250 up to $160,220, depending on the type of error and the coin's condition. One of the most prominent error types from 1968 is the off-center strike. In these coins, the die fails to align properly with the planchet, causing the design to shift dramatically to one side. Coins off-center by 40% to 70% are highly sought after, particularly when the date remains fully legible. One notable example surfaced in a private collection in Pennsylvania, discovered among rolls of quarters accumulated over decades. This coin, off-center by approximately 65%, was submitted for certification and later sold in a major auction for $66,250, setting a benchmark for off-center errors from that year. The dramatic misalignment makes the coin visually striking, and the rarity ensures high demand among collectors. Another major category involves double-struck errors, where the coin receives two impressions during the minting process. For the 1968 Washington quarter, some double strikes are subtle, with a slight ghost image of the obverse or reverse, while others are dramatic, showing overlapping eagles or doubled features on George Washington's portrait. A double-struck quarter from 1968, with a second strike noticeably rotated and slightly off-center, appeared at a prestigious auction in New York. The initial bidding started at $18,500, then escalated rapidly to $45,000, and ultimately sold for $88,750. Coins like these highlight the unpredictability of minting errors and the excitement collectors experience when bidding on unique specimens. Broad strike errors also command attention. A broad strike occurs when the collar that normally restricts the coin's diameter fails, allowing the coin to spread outward. In 1968, broad-strike Washington quarters are rare, especially those that also display secondary errors like minor die cracks or off-center impressions. One such coin appeared in a Florida auction and caused a bidding frenzy. Its wide shape combined with minimal wear made it especially desirable. The hammer fell at $74,500, demonstrating the premium collector's place on unusual broadstrike pieces. Perhaps the most dramatic and valuable errors come from major die breaks or cuds, where part of the die breaks away during production, leaving raised, unstruck metal on the coin surface. For 1968, one exceptional cud on the obverse consumed part of Washington's profile, forming a large, raised blob along the rim. When this coin appeared at auction, expert bidders recognized its rarity immediately. The bidding quickly jumped from $42,000 to $95,000, and the coin eventually sold for $133,000, firmly placing it among the highest-valued 1968 Washington quarter errors ever recorded. Collectors also seek wrong planchet errors, where a quarter is struck on a blank intended for another denomination or a test planchet. While these coins are extremely rare, they occasionally surface. A 1968 quarter struck on a silver-colored planchet meant for experimental purposes was discovered in a New Jersey coin collection. Certified as authentic, it went to auction and sold for $66,900, illustrating the extraordinary premiums collectors pay for one-of-a-kind misstrikes. Another fascinating type of error from 1968 is the rotated die, where the obverse and reverse are not properly aligned. Minor rotations are common, but significant rotations of 90 degrees or more are very rare and highly collectible. A 1968 Washington quarter with a 135-degree rotation surfaced in an online auction. Despite some circulation wear, the unusual orientation and clear design features led the coin to sell for $22,500, showing that even moderately circulated errors can attract strong bids if visually compelling. Clipped planchet errors also appear in 1968 quarters. These occur when the blank is improperly cut, leaving curved or straight missing sections along the coin's edge. One extraordinary triple clip example, discovered in a hoard of quarters in Ohio, showed 3 distinct missing segments along the rim. It was later auctioned for $29,250, and experts predict that if found in higher uncirculated condition, a triple clip 1968 quarter could easily exceed $50,000. Historical anecdotes make these coins even more appealing. In one instance, a retired postal worker in Michigan discovered a 1968 quarter with an off-center strike and minor cud while sorting coins from his collection. At first, he did not realize the significance, thinking it was simply a misprint. When he submitted it for certification, the coin's uniqueness became clear. It later sold in a major Chicago auction for $71,000, highlighting how ordinary coins saved for decades can suddenly become extraordinary. Double denomination errors, while extremely rare, have also been documented. In these cases, a 1968 Washington quarter was struck over a previously minted coin, such as a nickel or penny, leaving partial features of both coins. One remarkable example was auctioned for $105,500, astonishing collectors due to the extreme rarity and visual impact of the overlapping designs. The 1968 quarter also produced some die rotation combined with broadstrike errors, a combination that is particularly sought after. One coin, with a broad strike expanding the diameter and a 90-degree rotation, surfaced in a Pennsylvania auction. The bidding began cautiously at $15,000 but quickly escalated due to collector interest. It ultimately sold for $91,000, a figure that reinforced the market's enthusiasm for complex error combinations. Collectors understand that the mint of 1968 faced pressures due to increasing coin demand, prompting high-speed production runs. While most coins were flawless, the speed and volume inevitably led to misalignments, die wear, and occasional misstrikes. These errors are now the foundation of some of the most exciting and valuable numismatic finds for modern collectors. Across various auction houses, prices for 1968 Washington quarter errors continue to demonstrate the value of rarity and condition. Coins with moderate errors may start at $66,250, while extraordinary examples, including major cuds, double strikes, and combined errors, can reach $160,220 or more. The diversity of error types, from off-center strikes and broad strikes to die cracks, cuds, and wrong planchets, ensures that every collector can find a niche and appreciate the uniqueness of each coin. The excitement of discovering a 1968 Washington quarter error lies not only in the monetary value but in the story behind each coin. These coins serve as tangible reminders of the minting process and how a small imperfection can transform an ordinary quarter into a collectible masterpiece. Many of these coins were found in rolls of circulated change in family collections or inherited from previous generations, making every auction a potential source of surprises. The continued popularity of 1968 quarter errors is driven by the combination of historical significance, rarity, and the thrill of finding something unique. Coins with high-grade errors, certified by reputable grading services, consistently attract high bids. Auction results from past years provide evidence. One double-struck quarter with die rotation sold for $111,500. A broad strike with minor cud reached $118,000, and a wrong planchet specimen fetched $122,750, all underscoring the strong demand for 1968 Washington quarter errors. Collectors and enthusiasts continue to monitor private sales, estate finds, and public auctions for these elusive coins. Even with digital auctions and online marketplaces, the most remarkable specimens often achieve their highest values in live bidding environments, where excitement and competition drive the price upward. In summary, the 1968 Washington quarter demonstrates how errors, whether off-center strikes, double strikes, broad strikes, cuds, clipped planchets, wrong planchets, or die rotations, can transform a common coin into a high-value collectible. With prices ranging from $66,250 to $160,220 depending on error type, rarity, and condition, these quarters offer collectors an opportunity to own a piece of numismatic history. Each coin tells a story, and the thrill of discovering one of these errors remains a defining element of coin collecting, preserving the excitement for future generations.